So the question is, dude, why am I coming over the top? So we've got a pickaxe, we've got a little bit of a chunk of wood representing a tree. So let's say I wanted to take this pickaxe to the top of the tree and I wanted to split the tree down in half. Well, I would set up this way and let the weight of the pickaxe go down the tree, versus if I had an axe and I wanted to take it to the side of the tree, then it would look a lot more like this. Well, notice the difference? So if your focus is on the ball, let's look at how it would represent going to the ball. If the ball is my target, there's your over the top. If the real target is my target, where I want to send the ball, well, that's a whole different story. So another way to illustrate that would be, if you go to one of my videos entitled Throwing the Club, Shawn Clement. So let's say I want to throw the club to my favorite post over here. If I'm throwing the club out there, notice how that has zero over the top look to it. Why? Because my attention's over there and my body is responding to me throwing a club over this way. Now, if you wanted to throw the club at the ball, if the ball is your target, all your mind sees is a golf ball, well, that's how you throw a club at the golf ball. Beautiful over the top move, isn't it? So over the top is not a function of you're defective, right? So you're not defective, you're not trying to, sabotage yourself. You're just thinking about the wrong stuff. So what would cause you to have to default to the ball in the first place, even if you are trying to go to the target? Well, there are other factors involved. Second factor is our side vision is really, really bad. So let's say I'm going towards you and I wanted to see you properly. I want to see you with my binocular vision. So notice what I just did is I pulled the shot way to the left. So if I'm getting set up, I'm behind the ball, then I want to go towards you, there's your over the top move going across the line. So if I throw my club, I want to feel like I'm throwing my club out to the right of you. Notice how that golf club is pretty much coming your way, isn't it? So if you go to Throw Your Club Straight, Shawn Clement, another fantastic video to help you organize your side vision so that you don't come over the top. So number one, you need to have a target there. Number two, you need to know how to find the target over there. Number three, if you have any doubts as to the contact with the ball, well, then you're preoccupied with down here, you can't go out there. Automatically you will come over the top. You see how you have a lot of stuff already running against you. So a really good visual for you to come through the ball. Two things. One, here's my favorite tool of all time for golf. $14.95 at Home Hardware, right? So it's called the grass whip. So if I wanted to cut the grass along the surface of the ground, so right now I'm focused on just cutting grass along the ground surface. If I come over the top, well, sorry, now I'm taking a deep chunk of ground out of the grass and I'm no longer employable. So I want to feel like the blades of grass are getting shaved along the surface. Now, this just happens to be a dandelion in disguise. So if all I'm going to do is I take this dandelion, I'm going to put it in a nice visual spot for you here. My brain sees the dandelion stem, so my eyes are actually on the grass between the blade and the ball, and I can see how the blade is in that perfect position to cut through the stem. So what my focus is going to be is on cutting through the grass along the surface of the ground, and the stem just happens to be part of that. I'm going to give it a nice little whipping cut. So you didn't see how that ball just kind of spun out there. Let me see if I can get a little closer to the ground with that cut. There we go. So I am cutting right through the stem, and notice how the ball just got popped up into the air. So if I do the same thing with my golf club, so all I see right now down here is the stem of the dandelion. Notice how I'm set up? This would cause me to go into the ground. The planet is now in my way. That's over the top. That's me going after the ball. Versus, that's me cutting through a dandelion stem. If I overdo that, now I feel like I'm going to cut the grass too far over here. I want to feel like I'm cutting the grass. The stem is the beginning and the grass being cut is over here. So when I cut grass, I don't cut just one blade. I cut a nice section of grass. So I see the section of grass that I want to cut. I let gravity cut through that stem, and perfect contact, beautifully struck, amazing compression. So I'm compressing the ball that way. I'm not glancing across the ball this way. So typically when you come over the top, you're going to have deep divots pointing to the left. That tells you, that's your first sign that number one, you're not seeing it properly. Number two, you're not seeing it properly here. So use the grass whip analogy to cut through the stem in that direction. Here's one more for you. Back to my board. So if I have a door frame here, and I want to drive the ball into the side of this door frame. See that? So I want to squeeze that ball into the door frame. You'll notice that if I come over the top, I'm going into the floor. If I stay with the task of squeezing the ball into the door frame, notice how my handle comes through first. There it is. So now I don't want to catch the ground or the floor first. Stay there, you. So I don't want to catch the floor first. I want to go straight into that door frame. So you'll notice how the sole of the club has not gotten to the stem of the dandelion yet. So let's say this was a cutting board. I wanted to cut that stem up against the cutting board. I'd have to go through the ball to do that. So guess what? If I focus on, so what you can do is take an alignment rod, stick it vertically into the ground right there, and just put the ball right up against it. Pretend you're going through a door frame. So you can picture that door frame right here. Let's see if I can get this to stand. There we go. So I feel the weight of my hammer and I'm going to squeeze. Look where my head stays in relation to that door frame. So that's going to allow me to go through the door frame and out towards my target. Another beautiful contact, a nice solid divot, not too deep, not too shallow. All I'm looking for is using the weight of this hammer to squeeze through this door frame. Gather it, squeeze through, perfect contact. So there's a great way for you to, when you maintain this position, when you maintain that task, you can't come over the top, okay? So enjoy that, and we'll see you in the next one.